Okay,
Sound done?
Yes.
yes. Calling to order the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen on February 14th, 2024. So 11:05 a.m. The only item on the agenda is a budget workshop. In front of you, Matt, you got the overall sheet and then the breakdown on all the subsequent pages. I think what we should do is start at the big line item changes. And then work down if you'd like to.
Sure. Good.
So the first big, line item change is the assessor, which is up $27,000 for a 20.34% increase. The reason for that is payroll. Our, contract, it has something to do with the contract with the town of Bolton, if I believe.
Yes, so
Correct.
that is between you and Jim Rupert, and we have to be work in progress.
All right,
Right?
yes,
For you,
yeah,
and, I have an estimated number that Kara provided,
okay,
but I don't know that it's the right number until you sign the contract with Jim Rupert and you know exactly what you're looking for. What
All right.
exactly our share is.
yeah, I haven't, delved into this at all yet, so. This is
That's the kind of thing he needs to know to follow up. Right? I'm going into a little bit. Sorry.
oh, that's fine.
No.
So this is this number here that we have in our overall page, that's a,
Yes,
placeholder and is a conservative, so we're making sure that that covers it.
yes, so when you look
Okay.
on page 2, and you look at Department 134, the assessor services, the third line down in the group, you can see that this year we budgeted to pay $57,788, and we have an increase of 18,000. I'm just not sure until you sign the contract that we have the right number
Okay,
in there for payroll.
all right, I will be working on that contract as soon as I can. I apologize to the group for not knowing that I was supposed to be working on that contract until
Okay, so
just now.
the 32.9 is different from the 20.34 because the 32.9 is the line item, right? And the 20.34 is the overall assessor, right? Why is 32.9
That's a good
different?
question. That's a good question. So why isn't, it should be an assessor, $162,028 is the proposed
I see.
request.
No, I see that.
27,389.
Yeah.
20.3% increase.
Right, so that's the assessor overall, that's the 101 through 4.
Correct. Assessor overall.
Right, got it, I'm all set. And so the driver of that, wait a minute, all these are up, every single 54% supplies, 74% training and education.
Yes.
Um,
I think that the contract is changing. Peter's gonna get all the details. That, exactly what is it that we're sharing with Bolton? We are gonna be sharing some in the proposal, right? Some training, I think. Peter will get to the
Sure.
bottom of it with Jim Rupert.
Got it, thanks, appreciate it.
also,
Call it an open item till then. This might be room for a change.
right, the other thing in training and education for the assessor, we have an assistant assessor that's a town employee, part-time town employee
Okay,
that needs some additional training.
got it.
I would like to train her up to you can get, to the point where she can do even more work, so.
That'd be good, definitely, when you go and renegotiate, you can,
Yeah.
I understood.
Yes, that's in there under,
Cost per assistant,
yes, it's under,
All
it's a piece of training and education,
all right. Which is line item, which,
which is 645, the very last
640,
one.
yeah, all right, got it. It looks like we've been, not expending our training and education budget, but I think we're gonna have to get into that. This, haven't we been budgeting 2770 and we're spending like
Yes.
less than 1,000?
Yes.
All right,
We're there.
we will look into that. The second big one that I want to cover, and then I'm gonna get you, Troy, I know we have you here for a reason. Is transfer out to human services is up 37.89%. As I understand it, this is because they hired the senior center supervisor, what's her title? Coordinator.
Is that different, Pete, than the, you got senior center coordinator, and you also have the elderly, the senior, we voted on our last meeting, the senior representative officer, I'm the senior officer for,
Liaison.
Liaison,
okay.
yeah, to the Senior Center Inc.
Yes.
Or, yes, those are two different organizations.
But is it the same person that we're paying for?
No,
So it's two separate ones.
so,
one we just voted on is Karen Hotel.
right, she's the boss of the person that we're
Okay.
getting here. They're all in the same department.
Which one was paid for last time by ARPA funds?
Man, the one that's causing this jump here.
So the last administration spent, paid for a ongoing salary with one-time funds. Now we have a 37% jump in salary for that job.
It appears that way, yes.
That's bad planning and bad management.
So, well,
It's okay, I'm not here to defend themselves, like I say, it's bad management, and everyone told you not to do that. The government told you not to do it, federal government told you not to do that, we did it.
I'm not sure I use the pronoun we.
All right, well, Wilmington did it.
Wellington did it.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next one.
And then the last one is Public Works. Public Works is up, close to $500,000. So, Troy, tell us why you need another extra $500,000.
All right, so the first one was another employee. So the last 4 years I've asked for another, laborer's position. I mean, we only have a crew of 4 guys. Another that position would help out all over the place. It'd help with snow plowing. It basically, our contractor right now is year to year. Nobody wants to do that. If the other person was budgeted, we would be able to use him and would get rid of the contract.
Right, are you looking at full-time?
Full time, yes.
All right.
That would work out.
And by losing the contractor, how much is that?
Well, the contractor is about, I want to say a little under 40,000, I believe, with his updated price.
All right,
For what he came in, but that's just for snow removal. That's all we use the contractor for. This employee would be used year round or, everything else, well, our day-to-day product, basically. He'd also be, when it's hard in the summertime, the guys don't take vacations in the winter due to the weather, stuff. So in the summertime, something like July, I have sometimes 2 guys. It's hard to get stuff done with 2 guys. This year we had a lot of medical issues that happened. And there was times where there was 1 employee, just the way things work out. Hopefully it doesn't happen this year. But it's one of those things where.
I'm sorry, this whole distraction got me. So $40,000 for the contractor, you're looking for a full-time person, the guess on the full-time person,
85,000.
85,000 salary and
And
benefits. So we're doubling there,
Yeah.
all right,
But just remember, the snowplow guy just snowplows.
Right,
That's all we
right,
don't
right, right.
hire him in the summertime,
Yeah.
or I mean, he does help out because he's a contractor, like the last time the dirt roads, he came in and hauled some material for him, but it's not, he doesn't show up to work every day. It's just basically,
so. Do you have, would you need another truck if you got another
Well,
person?
that would be, so there's a couple of ways to work around that. So in CIP, the 2015 Freightliner, which would be replaced in 2025.
Mhm,
Next year would be up for, it's on its 10-year cycle.
mhm.
So if that truck was to be purchased, then that truck is still being 10 years old. We still could use that truck to keep in the fleet
All right,
and use it.
so that would be another expense when we keep the truck because you'd have to buy it.
Yeah, so one way or another, eventually, someday, I'm afraid that if Larry decides, our contractor does not
Right,
say, forget it, we're done, what are we gonna do now? We don't, we
Right.
can't extend our routes any
Get
longer.
another contract.
Yeah, well, we've tried for like Yeah.
What's the reason for that? My
Because
understanding,
there's no one.
hold on. Let me ask the question. My understanding is that we used to use a lot of contractors in public works and we're down to 0 or 1.
Because
Why did we do that? What happened?
because nobody wants to do it. It's, we don't pay a retainer, we're cheaper than we're paying the state's getting like $210, $212, $220 an hour, we're paying $175. And they get a retainer fee, so if you go apply for the state, they're giving you a $5,000 or $10,000 retainer, whether it snows once or it snows 10 times. We don't do that.
Okay.
And then to go find a contractor that has to have insurance, their own truck, a backup truck, nobody wants to do it. We've put out things all over the place, no one responds. And then you don't wanna get, not sorry, I didn't mean to, you don't wanna get a contractor that comes out of East Hartford or somewhere where now, you know, they don't show up on time.
Is there any changes we could make to our, stipulations and what we're asking for that would allow, that would mean more people would be able to bid on this?
It's, no,
It would-
I mean, more money, but I mean, that's.
It would be significantly more money. We'd have to come up probably to or exceeding the state limits, because the state isn't getting contracts at contractors signing up at their retainer and per hour rate. I've talked to a couple of, contractors on,
Yeah,
on my own time
yeah.
and prior to this job and,
You had none of your own time. It's all subsumed under selectmen.
yeah, before I was elected.
Oh, okay, all right.
And there's just no way they can afford to do it. So that's why even for the state, they're backing off the state because they can't afford to, it's costing them more in fuel, time, insurance, equipment than they're making.
So is this, I understand. So is this a question of not there's two ways to look at this. Number one is I have 100 units of work to do, all right? Plowing, tree trimming, everything you guys do, we've got 100 units, right? And I got guys that are doing it right now. So then you're saying you want another guy. Does that mean you're expanding the amount of stuff that you're doing? Does it mean that we're more, we can schedule more flexibly? Why?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more, I mean, right now, for example, sweeping, it takes the whole crew to sweep.
Okay,
So if I had an extra guy, maybe that guy could be out cleaning catch basin tops off or trimming brush with somebody else or doing that. When somebody calls out sick or something happens, I have to cancel, what we do, or I have to pull somebody else. Like Lou, our foreman, he goes out and grades the dirt roads in the springtime. If when a guy is out, now I have to pull him off of grading the dirt roads while the guys go sweep.
mhm.
There's always something else that could be done, sometimes, right now, we're rebuilding a plow. I got 2 guys out checking the dirt roads, I got 1 moving pile of snow here, and I got 1 guy working in the garage rebuilding that plow. If I had an extra body, we could be working on that, helping that gentleman in the garage. Or now we're subbing something out where we just don't have the manpower or staffing. That's, the roads have washed out when they're paving, it takes everybody to go pave. So that means the roadsides don't get paved.
How do we compare to other towns in terms of the size of our, two things, the size of our workload? Is it the same as towns our size, more, less? And then the other thing is how our department, is it bigger, smaller?
So comparing to the neighboring towns, we're like Ashford, they have one more person, one more driver laborer, and they have a full-time mechanic. So they have a bigger crew there, where we have 4 full-time guys, no mechanic. So we sub all that out. So they actually have 2 more employees than we do. Basically, they're pretty much the same size town. I know Columbia has a crew, they have a little bit smaller of a crew, but they have right around what we have, but they're state roads, but they also don't have, like, we take care of the parking lots when we plow, we do all that stuff, they have school facilities that take care of all that. So they, there's a body there for that, where, Public Works takes care of everything here, we do the maintenance in the buildings here, we do the mowing, all of that.
So what would you like to do in public works that we don't do now, that would either beautify our town, make us more efficient, save us money?
It would be more efficient, you can't, I mean, the town's not growing anymore, so there's still the same amount of road miles, but there's something that, 2 of my guys go operate and do roadside mowing. Or now if I had another, so I have 2 guys left, that 3rd person, they could go put a catch basin in, or do a small little drainage project. Now I gotta pull the road guys off the road mower to go do the drainage job. We've been trying to work on Village Hill for years. Well, it takes the whole crew to work on that. And then if we say we're gonna do it in July, I got a guy out a week in July, I got a guy out in August, and vacations, they're entitled to that. But that's where that extra person would fill in, you know, it'd be help.
What's your thought on it? Thank you.
Going back to your 100 units of work,
Yeah,
they're doing 100 units worth of work with their crew right now. There's probably 120 units worth of work in town to be done.
yeah, that was what I was getting at.
So that's why you, 125 units of work, and so you add the extra person, now you can get some of that other work done. It would probably make Troy's job a lot easier scheduling. As far as the, you know, it worries me that we add a person, we add a truck, and trucks are expensive, and we've got, issues with that in CIP already, so all this cascades, and what we've been doing, what we just initiated with, the part-time truck driver, you know, the per diem truck driver.
Yeah,
I think what we need to do, it's harder to find those guys.
it is.
It is brutal to find those guys, but I think as a town, what we do is we make up our budget with work that we do. And so what I'd like to do is start off with recruiting more of those guys first, and then see if we can move into trucks and people. That's my gut level feeling on this, particularly right now is not a. All right, there is no good time. Now is an especially bad time to start increasing budget.
Yeah.
Particularly with the fire departments and the schools. So I don't foresee good things for your extra position.
That's fine, you can cut it, that's not.
All right.
That's.
I know you have to ask,
That's-
but that's my gut feeling in that.
I got that, you would
Yeah.
like to reduce the budget by, $85,637 and not, fund a new laborer position.
Right, now, the other thing is that's 80, how much?
85.
85, and so that we're now looking at $400,000 more. Did you get whatever that was straight out?
Yes,
Thank you. We're expecting another participant?
yes,
All right,
I got it.
did we figure out what went wrong?
No, but yes,
All right,
with that person. Yes.
okay. Right there. So, I'm sorry,
I get those.
400,000.
Yep, so then.
wait a minute, let me find is this on a page here
Yes, on
someplace?
page 8, down near the bottom, it is in the, road maintenance subgroup.
All right. Yes. $325,000 additional. Okay, that's up 92%.
Is
And
that for
then,
the asphalt?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, so
asphalt.
that was the 150,000, right?
Um,
For asphalt?
Was 155 and requested is 500,000.
Yeah, so so I took that, what was requested was the money from last year with the three, what was it last year? Let's see. It mine's the same as yours. It
right here,
was-
road maintenance,
Got it.
where we go for chip seal, asphalt and crack seal.
Yeah, so that's all added together. We added all those line items together.
Mhm.
So then there was a total of, I believe, 350,000.
Yes, correct, 350,000.
So yeah, so if we add the 150,000 would be 500,000. That's what I was asking for this year. So that extra 150, I'm not asking for another 500,000. It was an extra 150,000 I'm asking for.
Yeah. This says 675 instead of 500.
Mine says 487,902.
Yeah, that's the increase.
That's,
So-
you're down one line.
So,
Right.
You're looking at the total public works.
325,000 then.
Yeah,
yes,
that was the percent, that's the dollar change increase. And you just said 150,
Yeah,
right?
so I had 150. So when I did
So-
that, so my,
Where's 150 go to 325, Donna? I don't understand that.
So we are.
so
on-
unless, did we make a mistake, Donna, they're saying, so did I ask for 325,000 in asphalt
You asked for 500,000
total?
total, so.
So it would be,
Oh,
I'll be only 150,000 increase.
I see what you're saying, total for the subgroup is 500,000.
Yes,
We have 675.
right, right.
Okay, so you want 500,000 total for the subgroup. Okay,
Oh, I see.
got it.
Yeah, so,
So,
so my theory was on this, was every year I've asked for like $400,000 extra in paving to fix the roads.
Yeah.
We paid for an engineering company to come in and tell us what our roads are. So they gave us all these big projects and what it is. So I've asked for 400,000 every year I've been here. It always gets shot down. So this year I said, why don't we put 150,000? And if we keep adding that every year, eventually we'll
We'll
get
catch
to,
up.
try to catch up. I mean, an extra 150,000 doesn't mean that it's gonna go pave 20 miles of road. It might pave a half a mile of road or overlay 2 roads that need some overlay. That's what it is. With the price of oil and everything with the chip seal, the price keeps going up a little bit. So we typically use $150,000 a year in chip seal. We chip seal so many miles of road. We average about 3.5 to 4 miles a year of chip seal. Okay.
All right, do you have the same page that we have right here?
Well, this is the first page that I gave to Donna, so no, I wouldn't have that.
Okay.
'Cause I show chip seal, going from 150,000 to 0.
Yeah,
Cause it's all in one line item. We got rid of all that. We put it all in. Before it was chip road, the one I have, road maintenance chip seal had a line item. That it was, this is what it was.
Yeah.
We decided to add all of it. Chip seal, crack seal, and everything was added all into that, into one line item.
so that 400, 325 should be 150.
Page. So you're saying this should be 3, this should be, that stay the same, 150.
150, yeah.
Yep,
And then
you're
the
saying-
asphalt went,
Should be, you're saying not 500,000,
No,
but
no.
325,000
yes, to make the
to
500,000,
make this number here
Yeah,
500,000.
yes.
Okay, got it.
Because remember, we were gonna add all these into one big line item, because if you
Yes.
ran from a chip seal or whatever.
Fine.
So we only did like $100,000 with chip seal, we can do something paving, it wasn't just staying at this line
I will be
at the
challenged.
asphalt.
How's that?
So instead of all this, it should be like, see how I have it on mine, it was general asphalt, and then that's where it came up. From where it was, road yeah,
You have 150,
150, yeah,
you have 500 there.
you're right,
But what do you got on the bottom line? You have 675.
675, yeah.
So what is your request for asphalt?
Total is an extra 150,000, so this one right
Okay.
here, so what you had.
It
Where
says
this,
325 on our sheet.
Yes,
Should be
that would be
150.
it should be 150, exactly. So what, alright, so what are all these added up to be right here? This one, this one, and this one. What's this total? The 145.
As part of the workshop.
283,000.
So this year it was 350.
Yes,
All
correct.
right.
It's issued
So that,
350.
yeah, so I added another, I meant to add this, this was my mistake, then 150 to this would bring this to 500,000.
Yes, we got it.
So there's already
Yes.
350,000 in there from last year, I was
Yes.
adding 150,000, so a total of
We got it.
500,000.
Yes,
So
yep,
that's-
we got it. Is that's 325 on our side. When you do the math,
Can you summarize that?
yeah, I'll summarize.
Thank you.
So road maintenance, first line item in the group is chip seal.
Yeah,
This year it's 150, next year it stays 150,000 for the request.
got it.
Second line item, asphalt. This year, 155,000. The request for next year is 325,000, an increase of 150,000.
All right.
The next line item, crack seal. This year it's 45,000, next year drops down to 25,000. So the 3 items in the group requested are 150,000 plus 325,000 plus 25,000, and all that equals 500,000.
There you go. Yep. So that was only an increase of 150,000.
Yes, the group, request this year, 150,000, next year, 500,000. It's an increase of $150,000.
So it's that block there that changes from 325 to 150.
Correct.
All right, so that 92.9 is probably wrong too,
Correct.
probably closer to 50.
So. Okay, so we've taken off of our total 175,000 plus 85,000 for the new laborer.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sorry about taking off that new labor, but that's, not this year.
Oh, yeah, no.
We'll move on, is it okay?
I mean, I have a list of the 7 things or the 8 things that I increased. That, I mean, we can
Yes.
go right down on that.
Yeah,
Yes,
So the next one, well, we did the asphalt, so the next one was catch basins. So there's 28,000 from the.
wait a minute, what line are we on? Let's be. Let me get the catch basins first.
yeah, so page 7,
Yeah,
it's object 570, so 0311
Got it.
570 catch
Yep.
basins. Yep, current year budget 28,000, the request for next year is 50,000, it's an increase of 22,000.
Yes, so last year we only did half the catch basins. So that was it. So it will cost about 50,000 to do all the basins. With the amount of rain that we've had and the stuff that's washing into these basins, I would highly recommend before you don't have bigger problems, that make sure the basins are all cleaned every year. Our MS4 permitting through the state recommends that we clean the basins like twice a year, but we don't do that. We don't have the money or the manpower. That is a contracted vendor that comes in and sucks out the catch basins.
Oh,
So we don't do that at all. It's a big pump truck, comes in, sucks out the basins.
you ever hear them things wind up?
yeah, yeah. How do the towns around us do it? Do they have?
A lot of towns have their own truck, but we could never staff it and we could never buy $1 million back truck.
Oh, we can share it, but they're not using it.
Not too many, like Ashford doesn't have it, like Mansfield has their own. I believe, I don't know, Talon must have their own. I don't know if
That's very-
Stafford.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, right, but it's also putting 2 people to run the thing too. It's not just having, you go do that for a month and a half now. No extra guy, now I got 2 guys, so now they're gonna do catch basin cleaning for a month and a half or 2 months.
Hmm.
And now I got 2 guys in the roadside, so everything else gets neglected in town.
Mhm.
Um. I've seen what the rain's been doing to the catch basins this year, because I live on a gravel road.
Yeah.
So I am with you on that. Is this something that we could drop back to half the basins depending on the year? I know you don't want to, and I know what
It
the
is
MS
something,
for.
it is, yes, I get, I mean, if it was a dry season, they get all sucked out, depending on how
Yeah,
it is,
yeah,
but the way things are being washed out and. Creates one issue after another if they're not clean, that's part of taking care of the infrastructure. That's,
That, culvert you just changed out on, Delville.
Yep.
Was that as a result of not cleaning basins, or is?
that was an open top basin with like a pipe in it, so,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was completely filled, and the pipe over the years, it decayed, you know what I mean? The
Okay,
whole
so there was
bottom
a,
was just-
there was a pipe decay
Yeah,
problem.
but, yeah, I mean, with the
Wasn't clogged
sand,
problem.
yeah.
Well, I think we should present that to the Board of Finance.
Okay.
No,
The next one, the tree removal.
Yeah.
tree removal.
Yeah. This
So-
year, 60,000, next year, the request is 100,000.
We
Back up to 100,000,
Yeah.
but there was 100,000, then it went to 60, and now we want to go back up to
back
100.
up to it, there's
Why did we go down to 60 with the tree die-offs?
just budget cuts,
Okay,
it's a way to save, so that's.
all
I
right,
tried to fight for that, but it was just the way it worked out. I would recommend that it goes back up, or
how much,
a little bit of-
how much did we actually spend? We spent 48.
and there's still plenty more. I just wanted to go through the winter and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's one of those where you can spend it one week and save it the next, and then it happens. It's not, I don't just spend that whole line item, nothing until, you know,
Is this a safety issue?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and a power issue and all kinds of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a road, access issue mostly because if it looks like it's into the power lines.
Yeah.
Then, doesn't, Eversource
yeah.
takes care of a good deal of that.
Yeah,
So this isn't $100,000 worth of, work is gonna be done for the whole town. This is our small part of the bigger project, which Eversource is paying considerably more for.
especially with the Emerald Ash Borer is really basically killing every ash tree in town.
And then the, 10 counties, pillars, I don't think we're supposed to call them gypsy moths anymore.
That's what it just, yeah.
That's what I've always known, Matt, that's not politically.
Is that
correct.
offensive to the moths?
That's not going right.
Yeah, anyways. So,
I mean, if it's not, well, you don't wanna increase it that much, maybe just increase it 20,000 is better than the 60 that we had. Whatever, or keep it at 60, that's.
what are we going for percentage wise here? 60, 100. Oh, no, that's a 66% increase.
Yeah,
40K.
bring it down, Randy.
Yeah, let's bring that down to 20. Make it, 20,
$80,000 for.
yeah,
the request.
$80,000 for the request. And, I'm gonna ask you an unfair question. What's the total increase now in percentage? Because we were at,
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
using
we were at 11
shared service truck.
when we
Yeah,
took
some
out the
towns
asphalt
don't,
and the
I don't,
position,
you know
we're
what I
down
mean,
to
unless they,
6.9.
like, we have like the town.
Percentage
one, like,
6.9.
if we have a problem, like they jam the pipes, they have their own back truck, they will come and help out, you know, be like. We'll give them like, you know, the mower for the day, or if they need a guy or something like that, but it's a lot of towns, if they own it, they don't wanna, they have their own special people, it's special training to get those trucks.
I
It's not just like driving.
No, I get it,
It's a back system.
I understand. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
Not-
Sorry.
yeah, not only that, but there's a lot of equipment, sharing agreements that need to be made. For instance,
Shared liability and all that.
yeah, and with our ambulance, every now and then. Mansfield recently had all 3 ambulances die on the same day. And so we lent them one. And part of that agreement was that they do an oil change and maintenance update, or pay for, and bring it back with a new oil change and a tank full of gas and cleaned, and, you know, and so it's not, even if it's lent for nothing, it doesn't cost nothing to borrow it.
Got it.
That one, then the next one, the drug testing and CDL. That's at 1,000 and I raised it to 3,000. We seem to go over that line item every year.
So just screwing up.
Yeah, so especially now that if we hire like another, like independent person that, like we just did, like Peter
Yeah.
was saying, to come in, he has, in order to drive our trucks, he has to be drug tested. So it comes with a cost. So that's where it is. So if we wanna start doing that services, we have to pay for that.
So we drug test our people on hire, that's it, right?
No, and they get random drug tests. So everybody in our garage gets a random drug test all the
Why?
time. Just, it's a federal thing. You hold the CDL license.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Believe me, it's knowing a lot of CDL drivers.
Yeah.
The amount of time they spend peeing in a bottle is way too high.
Yep. That's a random, it's quarterly, done quarterly, the whole crew can go, one can go, it happens. Seems like we hit the lottery with that. So that one went up to 3,000. So. And then the next one is the gasoline increase, that's due to my pickup truck.
Where's that? Sorry,
Page 8,
page 8,
near the top,
626?
correct.
626, got it, gasoline.
Yep. So I raised that up a little bit, there was $4,300 in there, because remember when the truck was purchased, it was gas, not diesel. So basically, we're paying at the pump. So it depends if the price of gas goes up, it fluctuates, I mean, that could be a high number, I average right now. I save all the slips, I write everything down, I average a weekly between $70 and $100 a week in gas. The storm driving around, you use a little bit more, but on an average, I fill up about once, sometimes twice a week.
Sorry.
So that's an increase there. The next one is the sand.
Which line?
The sand is in the,
682.
yeah, 682, it's in the snow category.
682, 681. Oh, in the snow, okay, 682.
Yeah, so usually that's a bid, every 2 years, and we bid out like $14,000 worth of sand. Currently, we're using mostly treated salt now. We still do use a sand salt mix.
Wait a minute, what line are we on?
682.
Depending on the storm.
Oh,
So go down.
got it. I was on the wrong line.
Yeah.
So there was a rather huge pile there last year when we didn't add anything to it. That 6,000, I just figured to put that in there. So we could almost kind of keep that pile to where it is instead of, a $14,000 a year bid. We can just haul it with our own trucks if it's a real cold day or if it's like, a small crew, we could haul the sand ourselves and keep that pile.
Is that what I just saw? Pay order from your group for something from Becker's, was that sand or is that,
That was
was
all-
that the rock?
That was the stone, yeah.
All right,
So, and we'd still get it from Becker's down,
all right,
at, other thing, it just wouldn't be a bid, usually it's a bid thing, but I said, this year, if we put a little bit in it, maybe next year. We could wipe that whole 6,000 out and not get any, almost like skip a year, basically.
mhm,
And if it needs to come out, we do have enough sand for next winter. It would be something that would be in the budget for next year, so if you do wanna take it out this year. We'll just look
we're
forward to
down
seeing it in there.
to 7%, right? We're at 5.3,
I think we're at that.
all right, I think I'd leave it in there.
4.5. And what did you get, 4.5?
Or is that,
3 now?
yeah. Last year. What was the inflation last year?
Last year inflation was 3.5 and our grand list grew by 1%, so 4.5.
Yeah,
I talked to the assessor, she sent us that thing about 1%.
yeah,
Did I have that right down? I think I have it.
I think you have it right.
So, and then I Googled a couple days ago, the inflation was 3.5. That's weird because that includes, Wheaties. We won't buy Wheaties, but,
yeah,
and it, we're overweighted on oil,
yeah.
construction stuff. But we have to have some kind of benchmark, so 4.5. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we can take that 6,000 out, I mean, that's not, there is enough sand there,
What does that bring us down to?
that's,
Let's see what that brings us down to, and then we can make a decision on it. That's $6,000 is. $140,000 worth of salt.
Is there anything in here that we didn't spend last year that's held over? And we can look at it and go, how we're not gonna spend it again this year?
no, honestly, nothing really, everything, like the salt last year, we ended up fixing most of the road, with the mild winter, but pretty much, I mean, I use pretty much everything. we
Yeah.
could.
That takes us from 5.3 to 5.29.
Thank you for that, I guess.
I think leave it in, just to make sure that, because if you don't use it, then it's in the budget. So that we can get it if we need it, and if we don't need it, we won't spend it.
Yeah.
And then, if we get it, we can probably knock it out the next year, so. For 0.01%, let's leave it in.
Get it.
And then the next one was the salt, just with the price of salt, and, I increased that by 20,000. Just the way the storms are going sometimes, and just the price of the salt, there's only like 2 vendors that we get it from, and basically you have to control that, so if they raise their price,
Where do we get it?
we get it from Eastern Salt right now. And then there's Morton Salt. The problem with Morton is that they seems, and the surrounding towns have issues, like Eastern delivers, I called them yesterday, told me salt, they had salt delivered this
I
morning.
get it.
So, I would rather not change from Eastern to go to Morton, because I've heard from other towns, even Ashford asked the other day, where are we getting our salt? They had a problem with Morton not delivering it on time. We don't have a facility, we only hold 200 tons of salt, it's not like we have a huge salt shed.
How much
So-
do we use on a storm?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, usually on an average, we use about 2 loads, so probably about 100 tons of salt we use on an
Per storm.
average. Yeah, per storm, depending on what it is, you know. So, yep. The little storms actually use more material than, the storm that we just had. We, 2 loads took care of this whole,
Morton was a client of
you
mine.
know.
Back in the day, I did consulting, they were a client of mine.
Oh, all right, yeah.
All right, so.
And then that's it.
All right. So, on the overview,
Yes.
let's go back there.
Why is building official down 21%?
I think we just got a new building official.
Okay.
Yes, and Mike D'Amato switched the software from the building official line to his line, so he could keep an eye on the increases.
Okay,
So it's just a movement of a line item.
and then insurances are down 9%.
So you are looking at, insurances, yes, yes, so, well, last year for cyber was just a projection, and this year we have the actual, and it's less. So that's part of it,
And health went down like 5%, didn't it?
yes, because our premium went down for Connecticut.
Yeah, I see on the Board of Education that they have a huge increase.
They have since revised it
Oh, they have.
Yes.
on the Board of Ed. Now, our employee insurance would be down even more, but the salary increases for the employees, which in total were about 41,000. Rather than put it in the line items. I had to put it somewhere, I just put it in employee insurance.
Okay.
And we're transferred out after the contract is.
Yeah,
finalized.
that's a budgeting issue, is that we're gonna have salary increases. But we don't know what the salary increases are until we have the union negotiation. We haven't even, the union has started organizing their,
What are we penciling in for an assumption?
I'm penciling in for an assumption 2 3/4.
Not bad,
That's what I'm penciling.
I understand. What was the, that's separate from Board of Education salary increase, right?
Correct.
What was the Board of Education salary?
2 3/4.
That makes sense, thanks, Pete. And have you had any talks or thoughts, or, conversations with them at all yet? Or
With them, meaning the union?
Yeah.
No. They are just organizing with their, they had a meeting last Friday.
Yes, correct.
The union started meeting with their, legal representation on starting to figure out what they wanted to ask for. And, I was informed that the meeting was happening. I did not attend this. I think that they should be able to, discuss some of this before coming to see me.
Mhm. And on a percentage basis, this is like 15 or 20% of our overall budget, right, salary?
salaries, I think it's about 30% of the overall budget.
So if we go 2.34, so with the back of the envelope, what are we're 15 million, right? Our part of the overall budget is about 15 million. No, I'm sorry, I apologize. What's the Board of Selectmen budget?
5.8 million.
5.8 million. And then,
Yes.
so 30% of that is the salaries.
Correct.
So that's, what, 5.5, that's $1.5 million, right?
Yes,
It's $1.5 million, 2.34, so that's 2.34% of $1.5 million.
What is it?
That's not much at all. That's not that bad. I know I'm on record, but no, seriously. With, fairness is fairness.
mhm.
I think I have this right.
I think you have it right, because it's coming to 41,000, which is exactly where I calculated when I did first by Thursday.
Well, for you.
No,
Okay,
but you did it fast in your head, and our numbers agree.
that's good, that's good news.
So I think we proved it, that is about
So that means
40%.
we're not gonna have a huge problem when this thing's over, unless they go, and now my assumption would be they're gonna go for a lot more than 2.34%. I mean, maybe we're not supposed to talk about this in public, I don't know, I have no clue, are there any rules or anything? I don't know.
I don't know yet, so let's play it on the safe side, and not discuss that right now.
It's not.
Well, it's in good faith, so. all right.
Yes,
Yes, understood, thank you.
So that pretty much covers it all from the percentage standpoint, and,
What,
except for open space.
right, and human services. That's, no, we talked about that, that's.
We talked, yes,
Okay,
talked about that, and, open space at 20%. They went from 25 to 30.
Yes,
Did they,
that's part of the planned CIP.
all right,
So in total CIP is increasing, planned 4.5%.
all right. Okay. We're gonna have to have a CIP discussion.
Yeah. Our debt repayment is down to 12%.
Is that because we're getting closer to the end of our bond on the library, or is that something else?
One of the leases dropped off, so,
On one of the truck leases.
or something, yes, one of the truck leases.
All right,
Like it when that happens, that's good.
yes,
And then, public work, and then we have minus 16% of public works
Yeah,
leases.
there's a public works lease dropped off, and it was the truck, the dog, animal control officer had a truck on lease.
Yeah.
And that, also on that lease was self-contained breathing apparatus for the fire department.
Yeah.
That lease is paid in full now. So
we're
that's,
about to get whacked with another one on that.
Great. so
Because,
good.
that self-contained breathing apparatus,
yes,
it expires every 10 years.
I don't know.
I believe that OSHA standards won't allow them to extend it out past 10 years, and it's expensive.
Got it.
And even more expensive than that is if they don't use it and get cancer.
Let's see. So this was capital expenditures. I'm just talking going down here. Social Security is up by 5%. Is that a new employee? That has to do with an employee, doesn't it? That new employee that we got?
In the coordinator,
Yeah,
probably yes.
so that's
Has a little
cascading, so that's that bad decision that was made. It's cascading elsewhere as well.
Correct, in payroll tax and salary, yes.
And health insurance.
I think she waives it.
Then we have town hall operations. Okay, I'm all set.
All right. And it's 5 minutes to 12, which is your heart out.
Yeah, I gotta get going.
So
Gotta go to the job.
we'll adjourn the meeting. at 11:54 AM.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
All in
We'll
favor?
both say aye,
Aye.
then we adjourn the meeting at